Danielle Issa. My daughter is Lyla Issa. She is currently 9 years old, and her diagnosis is right hemiplegia. She has cerebral palsy. So, the crying was gonna happen this fast. So our story, it's really a family story, right? I mean, everybody's story is. So Lyla is a triplet. She has a brother and sister, Joseph and Noel. Lyla is an identical twin. So they were all born February 7th, 2013. And it was, for a triple pregnancy. I had them at 34 weeks, and they spent a week in the NICU, and everything was, great. Everything was, they were all kind of progressing the same. Around 8 months, Joseph and Noel were starting to turn, lift their heads up, but Lyla wasn't. And when we were discharged from the NICU, we had a physical therapist actually come to the house when they were babies, because they were triplets and they didn't have much room in utero at the very end. There was a physical therapist working with mostly the girls, because my son was kind of like hanging out on the bottom of the womb, and he had a lot of room to spread out. But I had called her, and at that point she had told me to call early intervention, which I did. And the physical therapist and I don't remember the other person that came to the house, they evaluated her, and she qualified for physical therapy at the time. So this is 8 months old, because she certainly wasn't progressing the same as her brother and sister. When she started working with that physical therapist, he had said to me at one point, you should see a neurologist. And I didn't feel the need at that time, because I didn't necessarily see anything that told me I should go see a neurologist. But then she started doing something with her right hand. She would hold it like this, and she would look to the side, and she would kind of like shake a little bit. So that was the point where I was like, all right, well, now I'm gonna go see a neurologist. And it was maybe about 3 weeks to a month from the physical therapist at the time telling me to go see a neurologist. And they did an MRI, and I remember being in the office with the neurologist when she shared with me the MRI and told me that Lyla had a stroke. She told me Lyla had a stroke. She didn't know when, she didn't know where. We moved on to go to many other specialists just to kind of see what happened. Like, was this a new stroke? Was it an old stroke? So we saw a cardiologist, we saw a vascular doctor, obviously many visits with the neurologist. And it was hard for me, not that it was hard for me to accept, it was just hard for me to understand when really everything else at that age, aside from maybe, I don't even know if it was low tone, it was just, her not rolling over as easily as the other two. I had these other two babies that were doing, something similar. I didn't think she was that hard, that far behind. But, as time went on, like the gap in what she was doing, was a little bit more apparent to me. So, hearing, and it was more than just even hearing. So, I'm a pharmacist, so I had shared with the neurologist that I understand a little bit, of medical language, and, the neurologist showed me the MRI, and I just remember that image in my head, like, what that looked like. We also proceeded to go to lots of orthopedics, at that point, but, it was really therapy at that point, from early intervention, physical therapy, occupational therapy. She eventually started getting speech therapy. And as she got a little bit older, still early intervention, she had like a special ed teacher come to the house who became our team until she moved on to like school-based therapy. So Lyla was, she was only right before we came to Breakthrough, she was only getting school-based therapies, right? So physical therapy being one of them. And she was doing okay, but I really felt she could be doing better. She had therapy for 30 minutes, 2 days a cycle. A cycle was, 6 days a week. So she was basically getting an hour of therapy every 6 days when she was in elementary school. And I really felt like she just could be getting more. She could be getting stronger. As she grew bigger, it was apparent to me that she needed better equipment. She needed things that would challenge her a little bit more than they could offer her at school. She very much had a foot turn, and walking on her toe on her right side, and that was a big concern to me. We went to quite a few orthopedics who really wanted to do surgery, and I knew that wasn't in alignment with what I was ready to do. At the time, I guess she was 6 going on 7, and I knew she needed more therapy so that we could help correct some of the foot turning, get her muscles stronger without really having to go the option of surgery. I knew she was coming up on some years of not only just physical growth, but also emotional growth, and starting to in kindergarten, that's very different than first grade, which is very different than second grade. And I really wanted her to be more confident, for her to grow in ways of understanding like how her own body worked. So that was really important to me too. I wanted her to be able to keep up with anything she wanted to do, not necessarily keep up with others, not necessarily keep up with her brother and sister, but I wanted to empower her with things that so that this didn't necessarily hold her back in any way. So I knew that getting more intensive therapy was really important, so that I knew that was not going to be one of the reasons that she couldn't do something. I might be getting a little bit ahead, but now being a breakthrough, I know that was a good choice because I can share with the team, anything that is in front of her, and I say, okay, she's starting this challenge, like, what can we do to help her with that? And that's part of what this team gives her, more than just like her, weekly therapy. So this, I said this before, we come here, our whole family comes here. Therapy is very much an important part of our week. We travel about 40 minutes to come here, and there's tons of other physical therapy places that we could go to, but they didn't align with what I wanted for Lyla. I wanted a team that was gonna listen not only to me but to her. She is, I told you guys when we started at Breakthrough, she's a tough cookie, right? And yes, I'm her mom, and you think you can make your kids do things that they don't necessarily understand is good for them, but Lyla very much is in control of all of that, even as a very little kid. I remember our first consult, and I didn't bring Lyla to the first consult because I needed to see and meet the team. And I remember Lyla's first consult, and she's a tough cookie, but I told the team that I know her too. She will not get used to it, but she will start being more comfortable and accepting as she understands what the purpose of being here. And you can't explain that. She has to feel that. That was a feeling for her. So that is a small part of what coming here is like. She has the support of not only my family, but I feel like when we come here, we have the support of the family. It's not just about Lyla. It's about Joe. It's about Noelle. It's about me as a mom. It's about Mike as a father. where clearly you still have to see other healthcare professionals. So, orthopedics tend to be, who we seek out just to see if there's something else that, would be in alignment with what we want for her. And I remember when we went to the last orthopedic, I remember coming back, and this was the first group I wanted to tell, just to see, the therapists here that know Lyla so incredibly well, what their thought of what I heard from, the orthopedist. And it's nice to know that you have that team to support. So, ultimately as a parent, I guess you're making the ultimate decision, but, to have a team like that knows her so well and can give, professional just thoughts, because it's not like everyone here shares an opinion. It's you're just truly, an unbiased conversation. That's what it is. No one's pushing you to do one thing. They're actually leading, talking you through your own thought process. If you ask for, what do you think, they might share an experience that somebody else had. They might remind you, why you came here to begin with, right? They kind of keep you on your own track. So that's one of the things that I love about Breakthrough. And the support that they offer for siblings, right? So when Joe and, Noelle first started, they did, have experience with sib shops. And, at the time they were really young, and they see Lyla. They see that Lyla is, yes, a little bit different, but they also see how much she can achieve. And Breakthrough offers support for them that's very specific to them and what they go through as siblings of a child that needs this type of intensive therapy. She is probably the most confident of all my children. She has been given tools that I don't know if she would have gotten anywhere else. She just is coming off of a basketball season. She played basketball. Like, she had the confidence to, play with a team of fully able children. She definitely recognizes her limitations, but she finds ways to adapt around those limitations. And I really think that that's things that she learns here, right? Like, just the strength, both physically that she gets, and just seeing a team of people that work with her that, make it fun, make it real. I noticed, again, going back to Lyla being a tough cookie, she's not into bells and whistles, right? Like, if if someone wants to be, silly because they think that's what a little kid wants to be, is silly, and she's not into it, the team is very quickly able to adapt and say, okay, Lyla's not into this. Let's work a different way. So there's, I used to worry that, like, in an hour of time, if she was going to fuss about something, that she would lose time in therapy. But in actuality, the therapists were able to adapt and get to know her personality really quickly, and it maximized, just her ability not only physically to get stronger, but also see how adults can listen to her, right? And they think that she established relationships with, adults that she understands. They respect her, she respects them, and that added to all the confidence. So it's not like one physical, like, yes, I got physically stronger, but it's, doing work in a fun environment where she's heard. Like, that's important. She feels very heard, and that's a model for what she expects from other adults around her. And she feels very comfortable sharing some of those things. If I had to summarize it into one word, it's proud. It's proud of her, proud of the work, because she's got to do the work. It's not easy coming. Not that it's not easy coming here. It's not easy for her to do some of the things that have to be done here. I mean, the work is hard. She's physically challenged, so to do the work it's after a long day of school, is sometimes hard for her, but she comes every week. She is incredibly like an on schedule kind of kid, and she will remind me like, oh mom, we have to go to therapy on Tuesday. Like, what time are we leaving? She'll plan her day like around coming here. So that tells me that like I made the right choice. That helps a lot. I'm also confident that I'm sending her into the world with tools that she's gonna be fine. She's gonna figure out how to adapt things. She's going to, I think eventually, she's still young, right? She's 9. So, eventually she's going to work on things that, she wants to work on. During the pandemic, she really wanted to ride a bike. And, that's something that, she told me, we shared with the team, and we worked on not necessarily riding a bike at therapy at the age she was, but doing the things and working on the muscles and, maybe some of the motions that she would need to be able to, do a pedal stroke. And, eventually in therapy, there's an opportunity for her to ride a bike here. So I know that I feel proud that she'll be able to go out into the world with the confidence to do anything she wants to. The family environment, like it feels like another family. You walk in and it's, not just hi Lyla, it's hi mom, hi dad, hi Joe, hi Noelle. Everybody loves Chance. Chance is a big highlight of coming here. I think it makes everything just a little bit lighter, right? You come in, who doesn't love seeing a pup like running to the front door. I don't know. It's just it's homey. I come here, I bring my laptop. Sometimes I get to chat with other families. That's a big part of coming here and sharing not only just the story, but just like stuff that happened during the week with other parents, being connected to people that have similar stories. Sometimes they're different stories. Sometimes you're on the side of talking and getting advice, and sometimes you're on the side of giving advice, and that feels good too, that you're able to help somebody else with maybe a tough time that they might be having. During the holiday season, Breakthrough connects families in ways that is fun, right? Outside of, the different diagnoses, like that doesn't even really matter. It just matters that, it's a family, and that's what families do around holiday season is to, share fun things, right? So the kids look forward to that. As a mom who's always doing the buying, it's always fun to get a gift that like you didn't have to think about. So it's just all those little things that are outside the actual therapy session that make coming here feel like a home and a family. And you know what, you're having a good day, you're having a bad day. You can chat a little bit, there's space for you to kind of unwind a little bit if that's what you need to do. I've definitely closed my eyes on the couch when sometimes that's what you need in a day too. So it's all of those things that make it, a really comfortable place too. I think you just gotta do it. You have to experience it a little bit for yourself. Like, it's really easy to describe what it's like, to be a breakthrough, but it's a whole different vibe to experience it. I think like for me, there's a lot of like, you want to make the right choice, right? And I think that, one of the first things that when I had that like consult here at Breakthrough, like, I think my biggest reservations were like, I wasn't sure Lyla was gonna like it. Like if it was really hard for her to make it through every session, it was like I was concerned about like what that would be like. And the team made me feel comfortable that like, look, if it's not the right fit after a couple of sessions, then it's not the right fit. But back to some of the other things that I was saying is that the team adapts to different kids in ways that works best for them. So it's not like a one-size-fits-all model. So I would probably say try it, be very transparent on what you expect, how is it going. The team is so good at checking in with you, so it's almost impossible to have to say you have to tell them what you want, because they're actually constantly looking for the feedback. Like, is this working? How was it after the session? And in the beginning, like this is not really the questions that I get now because we've been coming here for so long, but like, was there anything different that Lyla needs? The team is very conscious of making it a good experience, not because they want it to be a good experience, but they want this to be something that, the child is going to have success with. So that's very, very transparent. So I would just say, give it a try, be transparent, go in with, everything, your goals for your child, and honestly, share some of the negative things that you've experienced too. More often than not, you'll find that the team is very much in line with feeling frustrated with some of those same things, and they try really hard for those not to be the experiences that happen here. And it's not this one-size-fits-all model. When you're here, you're obviously with your own child, but there's other people getting therapy around you, and you can just tell that everyone adapts to what that person needs. Younger, older, bigger, smaller. The way they talk, they're not talking to you as an adult. They're connecting with the patient, right? And it's pediatric, so they're talking in a way that they're going to understand and that they're going to connect with. So I think it's that it's opposite of one size fits all. It's very individual, and I think that definitely sets Breakthrough apart from many other places. Breakthrough is part of our life. It's really hard to imagine Breakthrough not part of our life. It's not around the block for us, but I never dread coming. I never dread even the drive, like that, because we have a little bit of a drive, it's like, I get this peace, driving to Breakthrough, and then just, knowing that my daughter's gonna get what she needs to, progressively move forward through her life.